for your information, writing task 2 is scored much higher than task 1. This is something that I told you last time as well. Now, look at this one. It is the information taken from the Ielts Cambridge book. It is the main book that I use. It's about the percentage of score. The score you get for writing task 2 is 2/3, yeah, 2/3, yeah, of your total writing score. So it is very important that you spend a full 40 minutes on the first part of the IELTS writing paper. Oh, it's not. Okay, it can be both IELTS writing paper and writing computer-based. You're given more time than for writing task 1 because you need to write out 250 words, and also because you have to use your own ideas. Spend at least 4 or 5 minutes planning your ideas before you start writing. Okay, so the first one, you need to prioritize task 2 when it comes to practicing to write IELTS writing. The reason is because task 2 is much higher in score, so you need to take it into account. The second one, make sure before you write, you make a plan first. Why? Because when we are presenting, we need to have a structure. We need to have the outline in advance. And as I told you, you're going to relate to the video I've shared. It's because we have to be able to answer the whole parts of the prompts given to us, the whole parts of the question. If you fail answering the question completely, then we will get very low score. Yeah. Therefore, from the video that I shared, from the video that you watched, we can draw a conclusion like this. Okay, so it has something to do with the rubric. It's taken from the IELTS website, the official one. And these are the assessment criteria for our essay in the IELTS writing test. The first one is task achievement. It is for task 1. In task 2, we have task response. Basically, they are all the same. Yeah, but they have different elements of assessment. Yeah, because both tasks are, but basically they are assessing how we can answer the question completely. If there's something missing in our essay, we are supposed to supposed to write an essay covering the whole information in the prompt or the question. Therefore, if there's something missing there, then we get very low score, right? And the next one is coherence and cohesion. And I do believe you still remember what coherence is, what cohesion means. The first one, coherence, is all about your structure. Your essay needs to be logically structured. It should be logically organized. So when you're talking about A in the beginning, and then in the second part, so what you're supposed to say, what you're supposed to write, right? So everything should be logically organized. Presentation required thing, right? And the next one is cohesion. It's all about the connection between sentences that you write. In your essay, all the sentences that you have written need to be connected to each other. It's like a chain. Yeah? It's like a chain. A sentence connects to one another so that the readers will not find it difficult to understand the points that you are addressing in your essay. So they will understand easily. They will follow the flow that that they experience in reading your essay. So there's a flow there. Yeah, there's a flow. That's called cohesion. And the next one is something that we can also get from the video I shared. It's about lexical resource. It's not only vocabulary or the use of vocabulary accurately, but it also assesses how rich our knowledge is in relation to vocabulary. So we need to show that we have understood a lot of words. So therefore, I always suggest my students, please avoid repetitions in your writing. If you keep using the same words in talking about something the same, then you will get very low score because it shows that you have poor understanding of vocabulary. Yeah, so you have to have rich vocabulary. Well, the last one is grammatical range and accuracy. It's not only the use of grammar in an accurate way, but you also need to show that you have mastery of using different kinds of sentences in English. In your essay, you should not use very similar sentences, but sometimes you also need to have variations of sentences. For example, once you write in a simple sentence, and then you also need to use complex or compound sentences. Sometimes you use active sentences or active voice, but you also need to use passive voice. So there are variations in sentences that you use in your essay that will show that you are good at using different kinds of sentences. But you also need to be aware that the use of all of them, all the sentences in your essay need to be accurate. Accuracy is for sure very essential and crucial. So before you write different kinds of sentences, you also need to think about how accurate you are in producing those sentences. So, well, overall, there are 4 criteria to be assessed in your essay, like this. It's according to the official website of Ielts. Each of the criteria is assessed 25%. So for the overall percentage, it is 100%, right? 25%. However, I have experience. I've been teaching for years, right? I once had a student. She got a very good score for the overall band. Yeah, in the IELTS test. She got probably 7 if I'm not mistaken. She's really good at listening and reading and speaking as well. But unfortunately, she failed in writing. Why is that she failed? Because the score that she got in writing made her eligible, yeah, for applying for a university in Manchester at the time. And then I asked her to write an essay again. And then I read the essay and I found several missing things that she didn't write or didn't include in her essay. So she failed in the task response. Number 1. She failed in number 1, task response. This one. So although you are very good at the other criteria 2, 3, and 4, but if you failed number 1, it's going to be difficult to get 7. Or even for the worst scenario, you would probably get only 6, 5, or 5.5. 5.5 or 6. Okay, if you are not aware of the task response. So in task response, you need to make sure that your essay really answers the whole part of the prompt. So all the things in the prompt need to be addressed in your essay. This is very important. Okay. All right. Any question about assessment criteria in the IELTS writing test 1? Any question?
Yes, coach. About number 1,
Yeah.
task responses. So, which means that task response that we have to, like in the video, answer all the questions that being asked on the topics, or like we have to understand the topic itself.
Okay, thank you. I think both are actually similar. Yeah. So, when I said that you need to completely answer the question, it means that you absolutely need to understand the whole part in the question. Okay. So you need to understand the whole part of the questions. So maybe you need to play safe. Like when we are answering the question, we need to ensure that everything is included. It means that we're trying to show that we understand the topic by answering the details, in the topic. By answering the details, we can show that we have we have proven that we understood the topic itself. So that's what I mean. So understanding the topic means that we could address everything there in the topic, and we, how can other people see that we understand the topic without showing the details in our writing, in our essay about the topic? So we can only prove that we understand it through our essay. So the essay needs to address, every single point in the topic. Did I answer you?
Yes. Let's just say it's possible. I hope that it will not happen that the examiner give this topic, but the topic is I have absolutely zero idea about it. For example, I don't know anything about this topic, like zero details about that. Like, how can I think in this position I will be panic, of course, but like how do we tackle that? Like, I don't know anything about this, but is there any like triggering things, or is there any like disguise the zero information about this?
Okay, as far as I know, all the topics in the IELTS writing class 2 are all general knowledge. So everybody from different backgrounds of expertise still be familiar with the topic itself. I've been teaching many students, and even my senior high school students are still familiar with the topic, but it's different from speaking. Yeah, I think writing is, is very different from speaking. When it comes to speaking, sometimes we also need to anticipate unfamiliar topic for us, because we also need to be able to answer spontaneously, right? So we don't have any time to prepare ourselves. We need to respond to the questions instantly, right? So it's quite panicking. But for this one, for writing, first of all, most of the topic are general knowledge, about general knowledge. The second one is that we have time to think about what we are to write. Yeah, we are given time to do that. In the IELTS writing test, we have 60 minutes or an hour to complete 2 different tasks. In task 2, well, we can actually arrange our time, manage our time. Writing task, we spend 20 minutes for completing writing task 1, and the remaining time, like 20 minutes for task 2. So we have 40 minutes to complete this one, task 2. I think that's more than enough. That's sufficient time for us. So we can allocate at least, 5 minutes or 7, okay, to think about what we are going to write. So we can plan, yeah, we can make a plan for our writing. So that's what we need to do. So we have brainstorming activity before directly writing the essay. It's very important to have that kind of time to plan our writing before we directly write our essay. Yeah. So we have preparation time for that. And most of the topics are also general knowledge, so you don't have to be worried about that. Most of my students do not complain about any kind of topic I give to them. So it means that all of them are actually common for many people. Yeah. So I'd like to show you an example later after this. Any other question probably besides Rosa? Maybe does anyone else would like to ask question about the rubric? No? If there's no question from you about it, now let's move on. Okay, let's talk about different kinds of essays. There are actually many different kinds of essays that we need to be familiar, because we never know what kind of type that we are going to face later in real test. So for sure, the only way to do it is familiarizing ourselves with different types of essays in the IELTS writing test. The first one, discussion essay. opinion essay, agree, disagree. Yeah, they are all different because they also have particular characteristics, especially the question. So when it comes to discussion essay, usually it begins with the word discuss, because discuss both different views. For example, the topic is about free education, financial free for education. There must be two different points of view discussing this, right? So if you are required to discuss both different views, then for sure we need to explain 2 points of view, right? About free education is good or free education is not good. And you also need to provide the reasons and example. And the next one is agree or disagree essay. It is completely different from the previous one because it has very very distinct question and direct question asking us whether we agree or disagree with the statement or not. Yeah. Do you agree or disagree with the statement? Or to what extent do you agree or disagree with the statement? So the question is for sure very different from the previous discussion essay. And we also have 3 different kinds of essays, and then we're going to be talking about them later on, yeah, after this. But I think we need to discuss number 2, yeah, opinion essay or agree and disagree essay, because it's very common, yeah. This is the most common, in my opinion, in IELTS test. So I guess we should, we should discuss this in the beginning. Agree, disagree. Maybe I just need to show you an example of. These are typical questions for each of the essay types, yeah? The typical questions. The first one, what are the advantages and disadvantages of each system? Yeah, from the question here, we can see that we are required to share the positive sides and the negative sides of each system. Right, so it is advantage and disadvantage essay. For sure, it is a discussion essay because we are asked about discussing both statements. Right, C is opinion essay or agree disagree essay because it's asked us. Oh no, do you think this is a positive trend? No, it is not agree disagree essay. It is direct essay, whether it is positive or not. And how realistic do you think this is? This is also similar to C. And E is agree and disagree essay. To what extent do you agree or disagree with this view? Okay, now we're gonna talk further about E, yeah, or agree and disagree essay. All right. Probably I need to give you an example first. Yeah, this one. Well, I need to share it with you in the chat box, and I want you to see how very general the topic is. As you can see there in the chat box, right? So that's a very particular, very typical question of agree and disagree essay. Extreme sports such as skydiving and skiing are very dangerous and should be banned. Do you think this is something that you're not familiar with? It's very familiar, right? I think a lot of people know this. Extreme sport like skydiving, jumping from a helicopter using parachute, or maybe from the cliff. We are flying first, but we are falling down using a parachute. It's called skydiving. And then skiing are very dangerous and should be banned. It's very general knowledge. So don't worry if probably you think later on you're going to get unfamiliar topic for you. So most of the questions are very common, yeah, for a lot of people. Now, this is an example of question in agree and disagree essay in task 2. Basically, we are required to share our opinions and thoughts about a topic. Yeah. Okay, so this is an example, and I'd like to show you a model answer after this. But let's discuss the format or structure of the essay first. At the end of our discussion tonight, I'd like you to practice composing, a little part of the essay first. Yeah. So it's very important for you to start practicing, not just listening to me giving explanation, because it's going to be very boring. That can make you feel sleepy. It's already, 8:37, and I'm afraid that many of you are feeling so sleepy listening to me because we are doing online class. I know it's completely different from face-to-face classes. Therefore, it's a big challenge for not only you, but also I myself facing this, because when I teach online class, most of the time my students seem to be disappearing. I have no idea, because they turn off the camera, they don't even answer my question. It's like I am, playing a role as an anchor, yeah, or a newsreader. All right, so let's talk about the format or the structure. Here's the structure, yeah. If you watch the video just now on YouTube, you will find that the structure is very, similar to what I'm sharing right now. So the structure is clear, and most teachers on YouTube or in other resources always suggest that we just need to write 4 paragraphs in our essay. Just 4 paragraphs. Is it possible to write more than 4 paragraphs? It's possible for sure. It's totally right to write more than 4 paragraphs. The reason is because because we are sharing our opinions, it can be longer than only 4 paragraph essay, right? It's up to us. However, remember, we only have limited time to do this. 40 minutes only. You absolutely need to consider the time limit. Only 40 minutes. Therefore, many teachers ideally suggest or recommend this structure. 4 paragraphs. Each paragraph contains different information. The first one is just introduction and statement. So basically, you're writing 2 different things in the first paragraph. It's like we are presenting. When we're writing, when we are speaking, we're basically giving presentation. So we need to begin with introduction first. Introduction. After that, we also need to state clearly about our position by showing this statement from our point of view. Yeah, our position. Kalau agree disagree essay, dia berarti jelas. I completely agree. Itu namanya thesis statement. Jadi we show clearly about our position about the topic. And paragraph 2 and 3 are about main parts of the essay. Yeah, this is the body. This is the core. Yeah, body 1, body 2. And then conclusion is at the last part of the essay. So we can see that the structure can be like this. Introduction of the statement, argument 1, argument 2, because this is the bodies. The first body here, the second body here. Conclusion. As you remember, I hope you still remember about learning how to write a paragraph, right? When we write a paragraph, we need to start with the main idea, with the main topic there. So we need to give clear statement about what we are about to write. And then we show a main idea, then we need to give explanations, giving supporting ideas for our main idea. So I think giving a statement in only one sentence, we need to follow it by writing several sentences about our explanations or supporting ideas. But remember, we are giving arguments, we are sharing our opinions in our essay. we need to make sure that there's evidence, right? The evidence is needed to support our opinions. That's the way it is. When we are debating, when we are arguing, for sure, our arguments will be stronger when we have evidence to show. If we don't have any evidence, when we don't have any examples, then our arguments will not be that strong. Okay, so that's the nature of giving arguments. Okay, evidence is very needed, is very important. Thesis statement is also important. If you don't provide any thesis statement in your essay, then you will get a very low score because it is the crucial part of the essay. So using this statement to show your position is in the beginning. You know, in English, we need to be clear at first. I think it's also something that makes us different from English. Yeah. In Indonesian, yeah, many people talk about the issues first, and then they can conclude why they are writing this or what actually the problem is. So they're giving explanation first, and then they show the intention to do with the essay. But in English, we need to show the intention first at first. Yeah. We need to show the intention at the beginning before we share the reasons, before we share the context. Yeah. So they tend to state clearly at first. Yeah. That's the way it is. In Indonesian, many people talk about things first, talk about explanation first, and then I want to do this. Okay. Intention is stated at the end. That's what many people in Indonesia do. But in English, it's different. Yeah. We need to state clearly first in the beginning. Okay, that's it. Well, I have a strategy in writing the paragraph. Or maybe before I move on, probably, some of you have any questions about the structure. The structure itself will be very helpful. The reason is because we need to, to ensure that our essay is well organized. There is a coherence and a cohesion in our essay. Our essay also needs, to meet the criteria of task response. So by following the template, following the format like this, it's going to be easy for us to meet all those criteria. Nah, gitu. Ada pertanyaan? Any question before I move on? Nanti praktek ya, menulis ya. I'll give you a sample of prompt or question so that I hope that you can practice a little bit how to write it. If you don't have any questions, then I can move on right now. So let's talk about the main core or the body. Yeah, the body here. The first body, the second body. Argument 1, argument 2. As I said earlier, we need to begin with an idea, followed by explanations, and we provide evidence. Then I have an acronym for that, like this. PIL. PIL kan mengupas ya, mengupas. PIL component. So when you write a body paragraph, this strategy might be helpful for you. We begin with the point, explanation, evidence, and sometimes we also need to link back to the previous point after we give explanations. Yeah, so this is it. Make the central, let's talk about point, the central argument or express the main idea in the topic sentence. This is the example. It's about homework, I guess, yeah. One major reason why homework should be limited is because it can negatively affect students' mental health. So this is certainly a statement, right? This is main idea. Point means main idea, yeah? It's similar to main idea. Then we need to write the details by giving explanation like this. When students are overloaded with assignments, they experience stress, anxiety, and sleep deprivation, which can harm their overall well-being. So as you can see here, it is the explanation of the first point here. And our argument will not be strong if we don't give any evidence. So there's evidence afterwards, like this. When students are overloaded with assignments. Oh, sorry, I got the wrong. Wait a minute. I need to change that. Oh, it is not the right one. Sorry. I will fix it later after this. It is not it that the sentence that we saw before here is actually the same as the evidence, right? So it's not actually explanation, it is the evidence. I will find it out later. So it's basically the explanation, yeah, the homework, why it should be limited, and then we give example as the evidence when students are overloaded. So stress, anxiety, sleep deprivation. So all of which are actually the examples of the problems that they face when they got a lot of homework. Okay. And finally, we have the connection or link to connect the explanation to the main point. As a result, limiting homework can help students maintain better mental health and academic performance. Now, see, it connects to the point. Yeah, feel. So we write this, we write following this structure in the body paragraph. Okay, not the first paragraph or the last paragraph. This is for the main, the main paragraphs. Okay, now, I know that it's still very, very unclear for you because we are not talking about a concrete essay. Yeah? We need to talk about an essay. We can try to use an essay to identify each of the components. Therefore, now let's see this. This is an example of essay from the topic that I shared with you before. Yeah, it's about extreme sports that need to be banned. It's all up to you whether you agree with the statement or not. As long as you could give information about the reasons why you agree or disagree, that's totally fine. Yeah. Let's have a look at this one. It is taken from this website, Simon. So Simon was an examiner of the Ielts test before in the UK. So he's one of the reliable persons for writing of the Ielts test. As you can see here in the first paragraph, it contains introduction and thesis statement. Now let's see the difference between introduction and thesis statement. This is the introduction. Well, you can also do the same thing as you did in writing task 1. When it comes to writing introduction, you write the introduction by paraphrasing the topic. It's completely fine for you to do so. But I think you can also try to do this different way, like the author here did. In recent years, there's no recent years in here in the topic, right? It's become popular. And here there's no popularity, right? Popular is the thing that the writer addressed without looking at the topic. And some people argue that government should prohibit them. The word ban, okay, can be replaced by the word prohibited, right? So, when you're able to use different words to say something the same, then you have, rich knowledge about vocabulary. Yeah, therefore, understanding different things or different vocabulary or words to describe something similar or something the same is very important in the Ielts test because that's one of the criteria assessed in USA. Okay? Should prohibit them. And this is the introduction because there's no any position that we show in the sentence. Now, let's look at the thesis statement. Why it is called thesis statement? Because in here we can see that we have a position to show. I completely disagree. this phrase shows our position, yeah, that we completely disagree. Yeah, I completely disagree with the idea that the sports are too dangerous, and I therefore believe that they should not be banned. Now, it's okay for us to use banned because we already use prohibit. Or probably if you want to use a different word, you can write permitted should not be banned, or permitted should not be allowed. Yeah, prohibit should not be allowed, or should be allowed. Yeah, should be allowed. This one is should not be banned, or should be allowed. They should be allowed for. Yeah. So you can write in a different way. The vocabulary that you need to use in different way, but you can also try to change the patterns of the sentence. Now, let's take a look at the decision very carefully. Yeah, more carefully. As you can see here, there is actually one sentence. It contains two sentences, but they are combined into one, right? Yeah, I completely disagree with the idea changes. Yeah, this is the first clause. So without the second clause is okay. It's called sentence. But we can actually combine two different sentences into one, right? Using the connector and, right? So there are actually two clauses here, two clauses in one sentence. So, considering the connector here and, so it is called compound sentence. Before we use compound sentence too with this one, right? And compound sentence means there are two different clauses, they are combined into one using one connector. And you should be able to do this because naturally people tend to use different forms of sentences, including compound and complex sentences in their communication. So it is inevitable to use all different kinds of sentences in our essay because that's that's the nature of communication. And I believe. Okay, now let's see another aspect. This one, I'd like to highlight this. The precautionary procedure to follow and the visibility of restraint people from doing them. See, there are two main points there. Two main points there. In our thesis statement, we also need to give a sign, yeah, about what the body paragraphs will contain. Jadi di thesis statement itu saya akan campur pakai bahasa Indonesia biar lebih jelas. Jadi thesis statement itu harus ada clue-nya. There should be a clue atau sign mengenai apa yang akan kita tulis di each of the bodies here. Nah, makanya di sini disebutkan ini, the precautionary procedure to follow, because we are going to be discussing this in the main body, in the main essay, part C. And the visibility of restraint yang kita bahas di body paragraphs. Nah, coba kita lihat sekarang, kita lihat yang pertama. Ya, this one. Ya. The precautionary procedure to follow. In my opinion, so-called extreme sports are not as dangerous as many people think. All sports involve some element of risk, and there should always be clear regulation and safety procedures. Nah, see? Kita lihat di sini ada kata procedures. Ini relate sama di sini, right? To reduce the possibility of accidents. People who take part in the extreme sports are usually required to undergo appropriate training so that the dangers are minimized. Nah, kan ada semuanya ada precautionary procedure-nya di sini, ya. Precautionary procedure itu apa? Prosedur antisipasi. Ya. Jadi sebelum melakukan kegiatan olahraga ini perlu ada prosedurnya. Nah, jadi it's not as dangerous as what other people think. Don't forget evidence. Nah, tadi di sini adalah supporting ideas atau explanation-nya. Ya, jadi ini P-nya, ini explanation-nya, nanti evidence-nya. evidence sebenarnya oke, ini cuman mungkin kurang ada linknya. Nah, link itu sunnah sih, nggak harus ada linknya. Tapi kalau ada linknya akan lebih bagus lagi. Feel kan? Nah, kita coba lihat yang body paragraph yang kedua. Visibility of resident people. Apakah ada di sini? Visibility itu adalah applicable apa enggak? Bisa diterapkan apa enggak? Masuk akal enggak kalau diterapin? Nah, itu namanya visibility. Nah, kita lihat di the second body, whether visibility is discussed here or not. While I support regulation and safety measures, I believe that it would be wrong and almost impossible. Nah, ini ada kata impossible. Ini menunjukkan bahwa nggak mungkin, ya nggak visible. Impossible itu sama dengan invisible. In the first place, we should all be free to decide how we spend our leisure time as long as we understand the risk. And I do not believe that politicians should stop us from enjoying ourselves. Masa semua polisi harus aware terus nangkap orang-orang yang ngerjain olahraga ini? Ya kan almost impossible, makanya it's not visible. However, an even stronger argument against the ban would be the difficulty of enforcing. Nah, ini enforcing it, menerapkannya. Ya, aturan ini akan susah diterapkan. Kok bisa? Nah, lihat contohnya. Many of the most risky sports like base jumping or big wave surfing are practiced far away from the reach of any authorities. I cannot imagine the police being called to stop people from parachuting off a mountain face, or surfing on the masa in isolated beach. Masa harus menelpon polisi untuk menangkap orang-orang yang di daerah terpencil, ya enggak, yang 3T, ya kan? Betapa capeknya itu, betapa ribetnya itu, ya. Jadi ini mendukung the visibility of resident people. Jadi nggak bisa diterapin. Nah, in conclusion, not this one ya, not this one. In short, ya, in short, this statement needs to show the clues. Kenapa harus ada clues-nya untuk tiap body paragraphs itu bahas apa? Karena untuk memastikan coherence. Ya, jadi from the beginning to the middle and then for the last itu harus terkoneksi. Ya, itu tadi coherence. Coherence itu idenya dari awal sampai akhir itu runtut, ya, well organized. Itu nanti mencapai coherence. Nah, kalau cohesion itu seperti yang di video tadi. As you watch the video, you would see that the speaker explains about the use of connectors atau linking words, penghubung antar kalimat. Nah, itu namanya cohesion. Pendukung cohesion itu adalah linking words. Kayak misalnya therefore, nah, sehingga, ya kan berkaitan dengan sebelumnya. In my opinion, terus kemudian finally, while, in the first place, however, ini kan konektor semua ini, ya. Atau konektor tidak harus dalam bentuk kata. It can be the content. Kontennya kalau itu menghubungkan ya, it's okay. Kayak many of the most risky sports like this jumping, I cannot imagine the police being called to stop people from pursuing off. Nah, ini kalimat sebelumnya. Nah, itu namanya cohesion. Nah, so coherence and cohesion need to be present in your essay. Itu sih. Bentar ya, ini ada motor masuk. But I think you don't hear that. Okay. Nah, kemudian conclusionnya. Nah, conclusionnya jadinya kayak gimana? Ya, conclusion berarti ya intisari dari masing-masing body paragraphs ini. Nah, nih kita lihat. I would argue that people should be free to enjoy some sports as long as they understand the risk and take proper precautions. Nah, jadi keduanya ini should be free to enjoy some sport ini masuk body paragraph kedua kan? Yang orang harus enjoy, nggak perlu dilarang-larang. yang understand the risk and take the appropriate precautions kan yang body pertama. Nah, jadi bisa dibalik gitu. Atau ini di conclusion dibalik atau diurutkan juga boleh. Sakti. Okay, so that's it. That's the example. Nah, mungkin kita perlu latihan nih ya. Karena waktunya terbatas, I think we just need to practice writing the first paragraph. Tapi sebelum we start doing that, anyone would like to ask question? Feel free to ask if you have any question. Is everything clear for me? I hope that all of you are following my explanations. Okay, if there's no more question from you, saya kira
Coach,
kita perlu latihan. Oh yeah, sure.
um, one question from me, Coach.
Yep.
Can we analyze the text with using the FEEL form, the previous slide with the previous slide?
Okay. Okay. Yeah, sure. Sure. It's easy, yeah. And we can just change this one. Main idea, it is point. Because it is main idea, you know, point. We need to address the point. We need to give statement first. This is the point. And the next sentences, two sentences here, ini adalah explanations. Penjelasannya dijelaskan. This is explanations. This is the explanation, point, explanation. Kemudian evidence, I think this one, whether it is linked or not yet. For example, anyone who wants to try club and beginners are not allowed to use solo. They must be accompanied by an experienced professional. Safety. The protective equipment. Ini kayaknya bukan evidence-nya. Evidence-nya sampai di sini doang. Kayaknya salah. So this is the evidence because there are several things mentioned talking about the precautionary procedure. Nah, precautionary-nya apa? Ini lessons with a registered club. Beginners are not allowed to dive solo. They must be accompanied by, ini kan semuanya kegiatan precautionary procedure. Ya, antisipasi. And this one, I think this is the link. The protective equipment used in sports from motor racing to mountain climbing are constantly improving safety. This one. And this is the link. Okay, link itself is actually not compulsory, yeah? So you don't have, link is just an optional. Remember that. Yeah, it's just an optional. It's just optional. Because as long as you already have the explanations and evidence, they are all sufficient. They are all enough. So this one, because this is the main idea, so it is the point. And this one is explanation. Many of the manuscript like practice being called to stop. Okay. Okay, I think these are all the evidence without link. There's no link here. Okay. Now it's clear. It's done. So it's time to practice, yeah? Any more questions from you?
Coach, so can we conclude it that for the link part, is it similar with the the conclusion of our idea in that paragraph?
Yeah, it can be a conclusion from each of the body paragraphs. It's like we are connecting to like therefore that's why so we when we are telling a story, for example, oh no. Yesterday I went to a supermarket. I found a very wonderful things to buy. And first of all, I invited my friends to go to the supermarket. We're sightseeing. We're looking for some things that are interesting for us. Nah. Ah, but we found something very special. No. In my opinion, that's the best moment. That's the best experience ever in my life. Nah, so that's the link. It can be what can be implied from the information in the paragraph, or it can be used to emphasize the point. It can be used to go back to the point. Yeah, because point is the main idea. So it is the central one. It is the main point. Ya, pokok utamanya. Jadi linknya itu mengembalikan lagi gitu loh. Biar orang itu langsung merasa itu penting, merasa itu oh ya gitu. But it is not compulsory. Yeah, link is not compulsory because I can see many essays don't have link. Yeah. Okay.
Because ini coach, takutnya nanti kan seperti karena sepintas seperti mengulangi poin yang kita sampaikan di awal gitu. Takutnya nanti dianggap ini mengulang-ulang gitu kalimatnya gitu.
We don't repeat. We use different sentence. As long as we use different sentence, different way of writing, different words, we don't repeat.
Oh, I see. Jadi masih doable ya, masih applicable gitu ya kalau misalkan seperti itu.
Yeah. We can write something the same, but make sure that we use different words and sentences.
Oke, baik coach. Terima kasih coach.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Any more question? Mungkin kita belajar atau berlatih little by little ya. Coba kita mulai dari the first paragraph. Paragraph itu kan introduction sama thesis statement. Nah, saya akan keep sharing this part. Saya akan tetap share ini. Kalian bisa lihat ini. Meanwhile, you are also practicing to write the first paragraph of an essay. So you can see this as an inspiration, okay, as a model for you. Now I'd like to find a topic for you about the same type of essay, agree and disagree essay. Okay, wait a minute. Saya akan cari topik we disagree essay. There's so many examples actually, but I need to select which one is appropriate for you. Oh, I think I need to just take it from here. This one, teenage offenders. But wait, I need to copy and paste this. Okay, so very simple questions, and I'm not sure that currently this topic is tested in the Ielts test because it's actually a known example of the question. But never mind, we need to practice from something very simple first. Nah, ini dia. I have shared the topic in the chat box. Please see it. And we are practicing to write point here. Introduction and thesis statement. Teenage offenders should be treated in the same way as adult criminals. Okay, so what we need to do first is think about it. We need to understand the topic first. Please do not start writing first. If we start writing without understanding fully about the topic, then we will fail in task response. So understand this first. Anyone would like to share what this topic means? Anyone?
Means in what way?
Offenders should be treated in the same. Sorry, Mas Bima?
Means in what way, Coach? I mean the content or the
the content of the prompt of the question. Teenage offenders should be treated in the same way as adult criminals. What does it mean?
I think that Coach, I think that the meaning of this question that teenagers below age 18, I guess, in Indonesia, we consider legal age 18. So below 18, the teenager who commits the crimes below 18 should face the same legal justice as adults. So just like adults in punishment and also treated as adults. I think that's the
that's
question.
True. Yeah, that's true. Thank you, Mbak Rosa. Do you agree with that or not?
50-50.
Personally, do you agree with this?
Well, I think I agree.
Because, okay, you agree with it.
Yes, personally I agree.
Okay, all right. So I want to see your reasons later, yeah, in your practice.
Okay, Coach. So we should just focus on introduction, right?
Later on, next meeting, not right now.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, I think we need to continue this in the next meeting because we are running out of our time. But we still have 15 minutes left. I think it's going to be a good time for you to practice writing the first paragraph. I want you to start typing in the chat box, each of you, okay, writing the introduction followed by this thesis statement. So make sure that you understand the topic as Mbak Rosa did. And afterwards, try to think of two main reasons to support your position. So you need to be firm for yourself about your position, whether you agree with this statement or not. If you agree, and then what do you think the main reasons that you could provide later on in your body paragraphs? So you need to, give the clue in your thesis statement. Okay, so at least you need to write 2 sentences. Okay, 2 sentences. As you see here, it's not a simple sentence, it is compound sentence. Yeah. So there are actually 4 clauses here. 4 clauses in the first paragraph. All of them are combined into 2 sentences. Okay, it's up to you whether you want to write only 1 simple sentence, but if you can write compound sentence, that would be better. Okay, I'm waiting for you. Please do type the introduction and the statement in the chat box. Okay, good luck. Go ahead, I'm waiting. Thank you, Rosa. Anyone else? There are 10 people here. I want to see the others as well. Oh, it's just the introduction now, but Rosa. Okay, please provide the thesis as well.
Yes, coach. Still loading. Sorry.
Okay, no problem.
So, coach, sorry for the thesis statement. We state our stand first. For example, I agree or I disagree, and then
Yes,
follow with simple reason. Or
yes,
uh,
yes, for the
okay,
clue.
okay.
Okay, only Mbak Riza who wrote this. How about the others? If you are not writing tonight, maybe you can try to write yourself at home. Yeah. In the next meetings, we're going to discuss it again because we haven't finished discussing this one.
Coach, that would be my thesis statement. Is it good, or is there anything that miss, Coach?
Wow, that's very long, Barosa. You just need to write only one sentence.
Oh, so
Yeah.
so
I know that it is one sentence because there are two clauses combined into one, right? I understand that, but I think it's too wordy. Wordy. It is too long.
okay. So if I just write from I strongly agree until the modern society, and then stop, so that after that, and I firmly believe we shouldn't have, I don't have to do that until the modern society. So I strongly agree with the statement because there has been growing concern over the increasing number of crimes committed by teenagers in modern society. Stop. Like that.
Okay, it's supposed to be that way, but we also need to be able to make it, short. We need to address two things in only one sentence. So that requires a skill. Yeah, that's why I said earlier it's important to understand how to write a sentence containing a lot of information. Although it's only one sentence, but it has, several points to address. Now, in the essay I'm sharing about extreme sports, the writer uses the word for, right? You know, for means what for means? One means karena. Yeah, for is not only untuk ya. It means karena. Yeah, but the author uses the word for instead of because. If he uses because, then it should be followed by a sentence. So it's going to be long. But it's short because it only uses for. And after for, it should be noun or noun phrase. Like this. There should not be been for. So this is noun phrase. So you have to be able to use noun phrase instead of a sentence. And the visibility of hesitant people from doing them. So it looks quite short, Okay, now let me see yours again. I strongly agree with the statement because there has been growing concern over the increasing number of crimes committed by teenagers. It's too details, right? So when you write the sentence after because, yeah, the clause after because, it makes it long. Yeah, you better change the word because to another word like for or due to. Yeah, so it also shows that you are also good at using the word due to, for, since, as, beside, because. Yeah, because there are some other words can replace because. With the statement due to the growing number of crimes committed by teenagers. And they should be treated, they should receive the same treatment as adults. That one. Capable of understanding consequences. Okay, basically you need to make your thesis statement shorter than this, and you have to find an effective way how to do it. Okay, good. Thank you, Mbak Rosa. But for your introduction, I think it's already good. Question of whether, okay, that's nice. Now let's see Mas Bagus. That's quite long too. Nature offenders should be given. This debate occurs because there are two, so they often make other parties of view. Mas Bagus, you use the word while here. While itu ketika saat Anda nih, Anda harusnya. So after while, it should be subject and predicate. It should be a clause. While other parties argue that they need to. You should not use the word because. Because should be deleted. Now, while other parties argued that the law must be enforced fairly, victims of innocent acts do not recognize it. Oh, I don't quite understand this. So this one. Probably I need to copy all your answers and paste them on Google Doc so that we can continue discussing this next time. Yeah. Okay, because we're running out of time. Already 9:28, so we need to stop first. And you can probably try to practice answering this question yourself at home. Keep them safe, and you can share with me later on because we're going to be discussing this essay again next time until we discuss the sample answer. Okay, so I'd like to guide you how to compose an essay about the topic one by one, a little by little, from one step to step until we analyze and identify the model answer. Again, and then we're going to be practicing another essay again. Well, I think next week you're going to meet with with Coach Parans, and I think we need to have one more meeting to discuss this. I hope that we'll get the opportunity before the progress test. As you can see in our course, there should be a progress test and you have to take it. The reason is because we need to see how much score you get after taking classes so far. Okay, I think that's all for tonight. Okay, I hope that you can try to practice answering the questions about the topic that we discussed related to apa tadi, offenders, yeah, teenage offenders. Okay, because we don't have a lot of time to do this. I think we need to stop right now. It's possible